Okay, we are recording. So, your goal in Fusion is not necessarily to design the entire thing, because you guys don't have those skills yet to be able to completely design every aspect of this, okay? But your goal is to increase the surface area of your shoe by about 250%. We have to set a goal. So you're going to try and develop the assembly to the best of your ability, knowing that everybody's abilities are a little bit, different, okay? So you might use extrude, maybe some of you revolve, and I'll show you sweep. And you're gonna maybe use an assembly. I found this snowshoe example on the internet, and I'm going to use this as my Fusion example for this demonstration, okay? So, this is how I'm going to start. I'm going to start by showing you a couple of models that I downloaded from the internet. I did not design these. So this is what I'm saying to you. You're not going to do this. This is a pretty detailed, complex model. Just trying to show you that in Fusion you can really get down to the details of even buckles and straps and all of the lattices that make up the components of a snowshoe. I do not expect anyone to get to this point and be able to do this, okay, in this class. I have another one I downloaded and right here. This is another snowshoe example. These are obviously things you could purchase probably in a store. Once again, probably not going to expect this out of anybody in this class. Maybe of my advanced students. Actually, maybe not even of them. But from you guys, you should have all already shared a link with me. If you haven't done that, you need to do that. And if I was to design something like that picture that I showed you, which is probably made from some sticks or some twigs or things that I could find in nature, the way I would start this is I would start my sketch, which looks like I'm already in my sketch here. Let me redo that. I would start a sketch, and when I kind of look at the twigs that are laying flat on my ground, I would almost start with just a stick that I guess I'll do as a rectangle. I'm going to draw my sticks as rectangles only because it's going to make it easier for me to calculate the surface area of the bottom of that stick. If I made it as a cylinder, it's just going to be more difficult for me. So again, you guys know how to do rectangles and extrude them, so this is nothing new. But let's say my middle stick is 20 inches long, and let's say the diameter of my stick is roughly 1/2 of an inch. What I can do from here is I can start to create extrusions for each and individual stick that why is that not selecting for me? 0.5. So basically what I have now is I have just a stick right here in the center, and that's going to be the middle stick of my snowshoe. Now what I can do from here is I can make a sketch on the top, and I'm going to use arc. This will start to make sense once you see what I'm doing here. I'm going to use arc, and I'm going to use the sweep command. There's actually a video from when we did our Halloween candy project. I showed you how to use sweep. So this is just going to be a path. So I drew an arc because this is going to be a bent piece of wood or stick. So I had to create a sketch to show that this stick is going to be bent along this path. So I'm only going to draw a line, and then I'm going to click on Finish Sketch. So my goal is to basically extrude a rectangle along this path. So again, I had to first make a sketch to draw that path. And now what I need to do is I need to draw a rectangle that's perpendicular to the end point of this arc. So in order to do that, and that's why I'm recording this video so you guys can come back to it, I have to make a work plane. So right here under these little orange planes, if you drop down Construct and you do Plane Along Path, and you touch the end point of the path, make sure your distance is at 0. And what that did was it created a perpendicular plane at the end point. And now I can make a sketch on this plane. What that just did is I'm looking at the end point of this line. I can now make a rectangle right on there that's a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch, which is the size of my stick. And again, I'm drawing rectangle sticks. I know nature does not grow rectangle sticks, but that's okay. In my world, it does. So I finished my sketch. So I have 2 sketches down here. You can see them at the bottom of my screen. I have 2 sketches. One is with the path, and then the second is the rectangle that's perpendicular to the end point of the path. And now I'm just going to create a sweep. Sweep, like sweeping the floor. All right, so here's the window. It wants a profile, which is that, and it wants a path, which is this. We did this with the candy cane, if you remember back in the Halloween treat project. So there's that other stick. So you can keep doing this for as many sticks as you want. Just keep creating sketches on the top. Make another path. You got to do them one at a time. You don't have to be perfect. There's my path. Finish sketch. I think when you start to see this happen a couple of times, you'll see the repetition. Make your work plane distance of 0. Turn it into a sketch. Draw a rectangle. 1/2 by 1/2. There's more that I would do on this, obviously, but for demonstration purposes, I think I'll stop after these 3. I hit extrude. That was wrong. Wrong button, guys. I hit extrude. I should have hit sweep. That's better. So I want to sweep along this profile, and then this path. All right. So now I have the bottom portion, and again, I didn't take my time with this because it's a demonstration, but I got this general area. Know that you can always edit the paths. Like if I look at this from a top view and I say, that's kind of ugly because it's not spaced right, I could always go back to my history down here and double click and open and change by moving the path. Just change where the endpoints are and finish my sketch. And look, it'll update. So I just got to remember which sketch is which. Oh, that one's fine. Oh, no, it isn't. Move that a little closer. Move that a little closer. I wonder what would happen if I snapped it to there. It's kind of like when they're tied together. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's kind of cool. Oops. So, again, I guess that would be as if I tied those ends together, or I don't know. Whatever. So you can play around with this. Again, this is just a tool, guys. Just a tool. So that when we're done with our design, I'm going to hit save. When we're done with our design, we can take this and say, all right, what's the surface area of the bottom? Watch this. All you have to do is click on Inspect, Measure, and touch the surface. Look, my area of this surface that's blue is 10.274 inches. The area of this, right there, you'll see the 2 selections. That one is 10 inches. That, it'll give you all the selections. Sometimes you got to close and you got to add them together. But each selection, it'll give you the total area. So now you can figure out, because our goal was a 250% increase. Now, let's say you put cardboard or something in here. You can always, make a sketch there and fill this in. Maybe you have a piece of cardboard that you cut, and applied to the bottom or something like that. Just make it a shape, or draw out the shape of your cardboard. Maybe it's not rectangular. Maybe it's irregularly shaped. You can add that as an extrusion on the bottom. Again, you guys your skills in Fusion are limited because we're not in person, and I haven't had the opportunity to really refine your Fusion skills. But I want you guys to really kind of do whatever you can to explore the software and use it as a tool. I don't expect that, all right, or that. Now, if you do, I'm going to be pretty impressed. But I do expect something like this, using it as a tool to determine a 250% increase. That means if you got 100 square inches on your shoe, this shoe should be 250 square inches. So there should be a dramatic improvement. You'll see, like, even me just adding this cardboard, if I measure that surface area, inspect, measure, that's 23 square inches. So it increases pretty quickly. All right. So questions on any of this before I stop my recording, because the questions will be included in the recording. You could be famous. You could be like a YouTube star if you ask a question right now, because this is going to go on YouTube. Nobody wants to be a star? Nobody wants to be on my channel? Now everybody in the world is going to think I'm not cool. All right. Okay, world. Apparently I have no fans. All right, stopping recording.